Howdy everybody. Here I'm trying to do a longer video on why you need a pipe tamper or why you don't need a pipe tamper in some cases. Partially to show off my work. I do sell pipe tampers. This is one of my more recent versions. I have got a new style of doing the heads in a way that makes them look kind of like a gemstone. I'll try to show that off in a short because that's not really the point of this video. But if you're getting into pipe smoking, or if you already do, you may look at people's pipe tampers like mine and ask why I would ever bother. This is what they call a Czech tool. Originally they were made in Czechoslovakia. Now they're just kind of made everywhere, I feel like. But these are incredibly cheap. You can usually get them for $3 or less. A lot of ones that were made in Czechoslovakia are still around. This one's Czech Republic. So they're still around. They're still incredibly affordable. They pivot out, and you've got yourself a pipe tamper, a pipe pick, and a pipe scoop. So if you just need a pipe tamper, you really can't beat these little things. I can't tell you that this isn't the best for the money. And you could even go cheaper. They make these pipe nails. They just have a little scoop on one end. They're square. They feel like they're made of aluminum or cheap plastic. I don't think they're plastic, but they sure feel like it. These are really cheap and junky, but they work. Even more to the point of you don't need a pipe tamper. I went piping once, or what they call lunting. If you're going for a walk with a pipe, it's called lunting. I forgot to bring a pipe tamper. I saw a dead branch that had been pruned off a mesquite tree back when I lived in the Southwest. I cut it off with my multi-tool saw, carved a scoop on one end, left a little bark on there for character. When I got home, I oiled the whole thing with linseed oil. But that took me, 5 minutes or less, and it's free. So buying a pipe tool isn't so much about, getting the best bang for your buck. A lot like buying a pipe. You can buy a corn cob for a fraction of the cost of a briar, and it'd be realistically just about as enjoyable to smoke either one. Maybe more so the corn cob if you prefer them. It's not about the money, it's about what you enjoy. That's one of the things about pipes as a hobby as a whole. Money doesn't necessarily buy you more enjoyment. Just an example, here's one that I made out of a whiskey barrel stave. There's the burned interior, a sort of scoop that I carved out. All this was carved by hand, no machines. And one more example of a homemade that you could easily get. This one is just a simple, again, oak stave and a 10mm shell or casing as your tamper. Once you clean off that shell casing and get all the lead off of it, they make a perfectly fine pipe tamper as well. So what you enjoy in a pipe tamper will really depend on what you enjoy in general. But for me, I do really like these solid steel ones, these slightly heavier ones. I like how they feel in the hand, I like how they work. But now that I've gone over why you don't need a pipe tamper, I guess I should go over what they actually do for you. So when you have a pipe full of tobacco, you continue to pack it down. Right now this one's empty. But as it burns, let's say I have it full, there's an ember right where my finger is, right barely within the surface, right there. As it burns, the actual burning tobacco runs away or runs down. Well, fire burns up. So if you just leave it like that, your ember will eventually go out and your smoke will go out because the ember's way up here. So you actually tamp down your ember. As you smoke, you continue to knock it down and it continues to burn. If you've done it right, they should burn the entire way through without relighting. Though that's part of the skill, is making sure you don't burn too hot or too fast that it tastes terrible, but you also don't burn too slow that it goes out. So there's all sorts of tips and tricks you'll learn as you do it, but that's the basics of it. You use your pipe tamper to actually tamp down the fuel. And that's simply how it works. I usually have a pick or a scoop. If you don't ask for anything, you'll always get a spike or a pick like this. But You can fluff up your tobacco if there's no airflow. If you've packed it too tight, you can fluff it. And it helps for cleaning it out when you're done getting in there and getting all the loose bits out. So simple, easy, efficient. They work well. So that's sort of my video on what pipe tampers are, what pipe tampers are for, whether or not you need one or need to spend money on one at least. Plenty of people use their pointer finger. The tamping doesn't have to take long, so you can simply tamp with your finger and touch that live ember. You'll feel a little warmth, but it doesn't burn. So you really don't need a tamper. But if you like how they look, it certainly enjoys a lot of adds a lot of enjoyment, and you don't end up with a bunch of ash and oil on your fingertip. So that's sort of my video on why you might want a pipe tamper. So that's going to be the end of this one. I'll see you all in the next video as soon as I can. Have a great one, everybody. Goodbye now.